Hi, I'm Andrew from Gym and Athlete Training. Recently I've had a few questions about how I teach people to deadlift. So it's a little bit different to how most people teach it. A lot of people in the powerlifting community will be familiar with this type of setup for a deadlift. So when I teach people to deadlift, it's all about the least range of motion possible. So we want to move the bar as short a distance as possible. The best way to do that for taller people or people with longer limbs is to actually have their feet in closer. So instead of having your feet out wider like you would for a clean, we're going to bring our feet in under our hips or even closer than that. What this allows us to do is generate the most power. So you'll find if you're jumping, if you want to jump the highest you can, you're going to need to have your feet underneath your hips. If you try and jump from out here, you'll find that it's actually a lot harder to go a lot higher and you can't produce as much power. So we want to have our feet in closer. The next thing that this does is allows us to bring our hands in closer. So if you notice with the bar right now, I've got my hands out a bit wider. Take note of where the bar sits in accordance with my shorts. As soon as I bring my hands in closer, the bar actually drops down further. So that's about this much that we don't need to lift the bar a bit further. So if you're thinking about a 1RM, that's that little bit extra that you don't need to lift the bar up. The next part is we're going to, when we set up, we want to actually set up with our knees over the bar. So we want to have our shoulders in line with the bar and have our knees over the bar, and we want to have a nice tight back. So what this does is actually puts our back on an angle like this instead of an angle like that. So if you think of this as a seesaw, we've actually got less pressure on our lower back when we've got our chest further upright rather than having over the top. So a lot of people get back pain from deadlifts even though they have straight back. And you'll video it and have a look at it and you'll go, yeah, looks fine, but I'm still getting a sore back. With this position, it puts your back at a lower angle and your chest up higher. So we're actually using our quads and legs more to drop the weight from the floor rather than putting our chest further forward and out in front of the weight and then having to use our back to lever the weight up. So we're taking most of the weight through our legs rather than taking it through our lower back. So because we're starting with our shoulders in line with the bar, we'll then pull directly up. So our knees are going to get pushed back. We're going to keep the bar very close to our shins, just scraping up our shins. When we get to the top of the knee, all we do then is push through with the hips. So the main problem with the deadlift is that a lot of people try and do too much work. The deadlift is mainly from the floor to your knee. As soon as you get to your knee, all you need to do is push your hips through. So start with our shoulders in line with the bar. We pull up, our knees get pushed back, the bar moves in a straight line. As soon as we get to the knees, all we do is push our hips and standing up. That's it. So the top movement is just hips through, and that's it. There's no lifting at all. So you'll find that with this setup, you have less back pain, less stress on your back, so it won't be as sore. You're using your quads more from the start. So instead of setting up like a clean, where we have our shins pushed back a bit more and our bum and hamstrings are loaded, because we're bringing our feet in, that allows us to bring our bum down further and we can actually use our quads to generate power from the floor to move upwards, and then we can slightly use our hamstrings and glutes as we get to the knee. As soon as we get to the knee, then hips straight through. So you'll find an improvement in back pain. You'll also find that you'll probably lift more weight because the range of motion is decreased. So you don't need to lift the weight as far. You also feel more powerful, and the more comfortable and stable you feel with the deadlift, the more weight you lift. So you'll find having your feet a little bit closer underneath your hips or even closer than that, that it will actually improve your stability with the deadlift and you'll be able to lift more weight without hurting your back. If you have any questions at all, you can post them to the comments. Otherwise, happy lifting.